Hi, I'm Cesar Santos. I'm here in San Diego, in front of the San Diego Museum of Art with Stan Prokopenko.
Are you rapping right now?
Yeah, what? No, I wrap it up at the end. We're gonna go in there, talk about art so you can experience the whole thing that we go through as artists in terms of studying and what to look for in art. I wanted to look for elements because when people are learning how to draw and paint, sometimes they get stuck in the beginning of the 1400s, like the outlines too sharp, everything, they don't know perspective that well. Okay. So in a way, the evolution of art reflects on people when they're learning.
This is kind of early.
Okay. What year? Don't look, take a guess.
This?
Yeah.
This has to be 15. This has to be 15 something.
Damn, dude, you're good. 1540.
Yeah, in the middle. I didn't want to go early or late.
Damn.
But look, for instance, this is interesting because they already were learning how to compress the value. So this is something that they had advanced. No grass looks this dark in nature.
Right.
Especially when she's lit up and the sky is blue. And so I always point that out or realize it because those are decisions that the artist was making on purpose, and we're not victims of what's in front of us,
right,
as the impressionists were doing. So we have, even though we do academic or classical training, we really don't. We're doing a mixture of rendering in the impressionistic approach, which is look and copy. Even the size and all that comes from us. And they didn't know the power of lost and found edges. So everything is described very detailed, very informative, telling the story too much.
Yeah, I see that a lot in newer artists. 1600s.
Inside in the middle of the painting, I hardly seen that. Like, it's interesting.
Oh, but you can barely see it though.
No, I like it. It's fun.
I like it. I mean, it seems like a pretty big improvement, right? He's thinking about light a lot more than the other dude.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's still a lot of details and a lot of sharp stuff.
Yeah, but it's details that are on a accurate big picture.
Yeah, definitely there's simplicity to it, but the front edge is actually softer than the back one. And that's something that when we are teaching people to draw, we would have done a little bit less transition in the, a little softer in the back line, and then the front will be a little sharper.
That's true.
Because it looks a little weird in the picture plane. It's kind of contemporary looking too, Like very flat, simple shapes. Who's the main character here?
I have no idea.
You know?
The cheese.
The cheese, definitely, yeah.
It's the brightest, giant white spot in the middle of the canvas. So. It's chaotic, but it's organized chaos. Maybe it's supposed to make you feel that way, like, oh, what's going on? There's so much abundance.
At that time too, those things were precious, like more than now, because now we can find those things and just put it on a table and paint it. That's why I keep telling still life artists, why are you doing that? Like at that time, those glasses were really precious and those things were handmade. And you have a different relationship between that and the people that were around it. And now we have these things made in China. We put it on a still life table and paint it with the same love. Look for purpose in our world now. Don't copy it just because you admire it and set it up without thinking about it. So if we're gonna do still life, it's pretty much for composition studies, color, harmony, but not for the sake of they were doing it. If you squint, it's kind of simple. Like I can divide this in 3 values. I like it when all this is it's information, but if you squint, they disappear. This one has more stuff visually busy, than this, because the values here are, let's say, this band here is supposed to be dark and it has all this light stuff.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be light and it has a lot of dark stuff. So then it's a little bit more uncomfortable to look at. They exploited the power of color to narrate the story of the worker and that he's burned and then the guy is kind of sick and he's green. It's more like the narrative of it. So they exaggerate it so that the people will be like, oh, wow.
Okay.
I don't know.
But I get it. I get that. But do you think that if he made slightly more accurate reflected lights, it would ruin that story?
Oh, no, but they had to wait a couple of 100 years to learn that and then do it.
Oh, you don't think they knew about reflected light?
Yes, but not like color harmony in the naturalistic way like that. I think that developed after. The 19th century Bouguereau, all these people were doing it in a more subtle way. This is what I love about his sense of design, right? So, so the horizon down is dark. The lightest thing in nature is the sky. Man-made stuff are lighter, maybe marble or something, but after you take it from the mountain and that. But other than that, the sky is the lightest thing. But I love that he actually broke the horizon with the drapery. Everything is dark, and the drapery becomes the
I didn't
sky.
notice that.
So as soon as the drapery becomes the sky, then the head can be dark. So then we find her immediately with even her being dark like that.
Cool. Now that I see it, it looks like a continuation of the mountains in her vest. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's like part of nature in that sense. And the hair is soft too, because this is what happens now. Since you're making that contrast of the dark head with the light sky, if you keep the edge of the hair too sharp, it will then win against the face. So then he softened it to make it kind of like the sun. I see this first, then I close my eyes and imagine that girl in front of me with the goats, and she's a peasant, and I'm out there painting, and I'm sitting. So the moment I imagine her and I set up my tools and I'm about to paint her, I look at the painting and I say, wow, the painting is coming along good. So I believe, like, I play.
You pretend that you did it?
I pretend that I did it. So I do my eyes closed. So the funny thing is, I look at this, then I look at my model in my mind, and I see the differences, and then I try to apply that in my studio. So then, when I look at my studio, I say, like, how would he paint it? And then I kind of relate to that.
That's cool. That's awesome. Imagining yourself making a masterpiece.
I mean, it's exercise to be able to connect better, because otherwise we are intimidated. It's like, oh, we're in a museum, there's a masterpiece.
Absolutely.
What do you like about Sora?
His color and his composition. What else? I mean, everything. His loose brushstrokes. You know, he'll have a lot of areas of just large, loose brushstrokes, and then he'll, like on the face, he'll go in and add a lot more detail. But the loose brushstrokes don't feel loose. You know, like they don't feel incomplete. Yeah. They feel like they're supposed to be that way.
Like they don't look lazy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're designed just right to look like they're supposed to be that way. You can still tell exactly what's happening. I think it's because the colors harmonize so well that no matter what shape he'll put in there, it's just going to look good. Because the light just reads so well.
And he's using classical principles also that we were talking with the Bouguereau about looking for the strongest color and the strongest contrast around the face. Because if you think about it, for the size of this painting, the face is relatively lost. So how do we find her? How do we interact with her? And he's funny. He said, I'm going to put the sharpest line and the three most crazy colors and values together in one area. So he goes, wow, and then we find her. You know?
Yeah, it's the only green. The lips are the only red. So the green and the red contrast against each other, and then boom, you look right up there.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I didn't realize the red, but it's true. It's like red with green. It's like complements. Look at me, kiss me right there.
Yeah. That sharp edge against the hat that's right next to the lips, that's the sharpest edge that you're talking about, right? Yeah, and it's right next to the only red in the painting.
Pointing at the lips of him.
Yeah,
and those things might look like by chance, and sometimes but he then does this, it's like a magic trick. Like, look at this hand, and then they're doing this with this. You know? Like, he's doing the lips like,
Well, this is Sorolla as well. I wonder if he probably did this from life, right? This doesn't look like a studio piece.
Yeah. Well, I think how do you know?
It just looks a little
fast, like.
Yeah, like he didn't. The structure of like the face doesn't look like he really worked it out completely.
Yeah, especially when you put 4 brushstrokes that are saying on the head.
Oh, that doesn't bother me. I'm talking about this face.
Oh, you think that was from life? Yeah, maybe.
I think so. I don't know. Maybe not.
I haven't read that much.
I think. Well, I mean, I don't think she was there holding him, but I think he was actually out painting that outside while they were just like playing in the sand and stuff.
Yeah, because I've seen some black black and white pictures of him painting a door with a huge
Oh, yeah.
paint. But I don't know if that was also a show a little bit. Like maybe
Probably.
he worked on a piece.
I mean, there was a photographer there, like.
Yeah. Back then it's not like this. Back then it's like a whole appointment.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
One shot.
It's not like somebody had whipped out their phone and was like, oh, you know.
Yeah, so that's why they were well dressed up. Like people say, oh, they used to paint in suits. But like, no, man, they were posing for the picture.
Representational painters have a tendency or have like this desire to render out more detail. It's like we don't think about it. We just naturally just want to go in and do that.
There are things here that look more advanced than a plein air type of thing, you know? But
Are you talking about the legs?
yeah, I'm talking about the legs or the intricacy of stuff here, like for a baby to be moving.
I think he could invent that face. That's what I mean. Is that there's like structural
these
issues
colors
there.
bouncing and everything?
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of colors in there that I feel like he invented.
You just put them there.
I don't think that they're actually that accurate. I feel like he invented that.
This is perfect.
1500s again.
15 something, yeah. Everything is very local color, very flat. Green, light green is green with white, dark green is green with black.
Yep.
Yeah.
A little bit of yellow. In
From
the
the
light.
varnish, from the old varnish.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, and I like to see how an arm is just like, as it gets dark, then it gets like browner. Like they didn't know how to play with the cool colors for the surround, for the halftones. That's you can see incredibly like the property of lead white, how it's more transparent
Oh, really?
than the other paints.
Oh, in
Yeah,
here.
it has become like.
Yeah.
Sometimes we see people now doing impastos with titanium white just to do that like thickness in lights and I'm like, you know that had a practical reason back in the day.
The impasto?
Rembrandt had to, the lead white was very transparent, so in order to push the whites you had to put a lot of white and then the darks were achieved easily. So it was a practical solution.
Okay, but still,
It
like.
has aesthetic. It has an aesthetic value. I
Yeah.
understand that we should do it, but at least know it so it doesn't look fake. You know, at least try. You know, get the real paint, mix it up a little more transparent, and look for it. Otherwise, the
Right.
perfect head. I want to be like Rembrandt.
Yeah. That's true. But I mean, like Sorolla, not like did he?
His dreams were fake too.
Yeah,
Mistake. Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
No, I mean like.
Yeah.
You know, I mean like the sky is thinner and this is thicker. Like it's a practical reason, and it's good to realize it and
Right.
and see how we.
It was more of a craftsmanship thing than like a aesthetic. It was like I have to do this.
Yeah. Otherwise, the whites don't reach.
Okay. I didn't know that. I'm gonna do it anyway.
You do it?
I'm just gonna go thicken the lights anyway.
Back then, they threw away this stuff. This wasn't meant to be the finished stuff, so they were like, all right, I got the
Yeah.
idea. Michelangelo threw away a lot of drawings. And
Did they not think that drawing was like a form of art that was like note taking?
no, that was part of the process, and for them, they were professionals, so this is like the scrap stuff. Like,
Yeah.
this would be the cartoon. From here, they would do the cartoon, and then those drawings were amazing. Some survived, but most of them, they were like just throwing away those papers with values and stuff, or even hints of color.
Sucks.
Yeah, no, we appreciate this because it's like you can see the gut
Yeah.
of the artist there.
Yeah, they cleaned up too much when they put did the final painting. They removed any kind of personality from it.
Yeah, they cover it. Yeah.
This has so much feeling and personality.
Yeah. And we value that more. Before,
Yeah.
they didn't value the individuality of the artist. So
Right.
they were probably covering it to make it more for everybody else and less for them. And we know that it comes from them. And
Right.
yeah, we get attached. So that's it.
All right, you want to go to another section? This is the one where if you have the app and you point at this, the lava is animated. Yeah, wait, let me see.
Oh, you have it?
I don't, but we can download the app. Do you see that? Oh! You see that?
Man.
Look at that. You could.
What would the painter say?
I look at Sargent and I'm like, wait, great, Sorolla, okay. I look and I understand their power. I mean, but to do it or like the trick of it, I don't want it when it looks like paint. I like the paint when I forget that how it was made. I look at Bugaro and I'm like, okay, doesn't look like a human being did it. Doesn't look like like pigments was used. Like it's like very strange feeling.
So now you're going back to the 15th century.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
they
that
didn't
feeling.
want your personality in the paintings.
It will come out some other ways, you know. The personality doesn't have to project only with the brushstroke application, you know.
That's true.
It could, yeah, it could be the idea. It could be many other things.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But no, I understand what you're saying, and I think it's taste though. I think it's definitely taste, and you should hold on to that.
No, so how much of yourself are you going to put into your master study?
100%. Yeah, I'll try to study what I can do from it, because the thing is that you always. That's why I responded 100%, because you have to be you. In
Yeah.
a sense, like even what you react to, you're a victim of your own knowledge and your past. So
But there's going to be times when you look at something and you might not like a certain decision. Are you going to copy it anyway, or are you going to?
oh yeah, I'm gonna copy his
Change it
study. No,
to-
I'm not gonna change. Yeah, no. I'm gonna be loyal. Yeah, that's one of the things I do. Even yeah, every time I copy something, I try to copy
Okay.
the original aspect that I like from it. Yeah.
Okay.
Avoid you adding anything of your bad habits to it, because it will be easier. If I say, yeah, do a little bit, it will be easier to fall into your own trap. So at the end, you don't copy a sergeant, you just copy yourself looking at a sergeant type of thing, you know? So, yeah, so I would suggest to force yourself to actually try to do what the other artists did, and try to see things that you never saw before and stuff like that.
Okay.
100%, yeah.